Welcome, I'm Brad Browning, aka Breakup Brad. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through what's really going on in your ex's head when you use the no contact strategy. Now, we're not talking surface level stuff here. We're going to go deep. I'm going to unpack the subconscious responses, the internal dialogue, the irrational fears, and the emotional blind spots that your ex will experience, even if they're the one who ended things. Now, you already know what no contact is, but you might not realize how it affects your ex psychologically, how it pulls emotional levers that they can't consciously control. So let's get into the real science and psychology behind what your ex is thinking and feeling when you go silent on them, and why that silence can be so incredibly powerful. The first thing that happens when you vanish after a breakup, your ex's emotional rhythm gets disrupted. Whether they admit it or not, your ex has been emotionally tuned to you, to your presence, your communication, your availability. Even if things ended badly, they were still anticipating a post-breakup script, right? Texts, emotional outbursts, maybe a few I miss you messages. So when you don't do any of that, when you just disappear, it creates psychological disorientation. Their subconscious mind goes, wait a minute, this wasn't supposed to happen. And this disruption triggers the brain's natural need for pattern recognition and closure. Your ex expected emotional predictability, and you broke that expectation. And when the brain can't close the loop, it starts obsessing. It starts filling in the blanks with assumptions, projections, fears, and doubts. Your silence, it doesn't just confuse them, it compels them to make sense of you. And that means that you're on their mind, whether they want you there or not. All right, this part is huge, and it's something that your ex doesn't even realize is happening. You were a source of dopamine for them. See, when we're in a relationship, even a rocky one, our brains get used to regular dopamine hits. A message, a call, physical closeness. Even arguments can trigger that dopamine cycle. And then suddenly that source disappears. Cold turkey. And the result is a full-blown dopamine crash. Now this crash, it manifests as anxiety, irritability, restlessness, and most importantly, longing. Even if your ex doesn't want to admit that they miss you, their brain is craving that chemical fix. And the longer they go without it, the stronger that craving becomes. And that's why so many exes who seemed, over it, suddenly reach out weeks later with a random text like, hey, just checking in, or hope you're doing okay. That's not just curiosity. It's withdrawal. It's psychology. It's not emotion. There's a concept in psychology called the empty space effect. When something or someone is abruptly removed from our daily life, the brain automatically focuses attention on that void. It's not even about how much they loved you. It's about how used to you they were. So think of it like this. If I took away your favorite coffee mug, the one you didn't even think about using every day, you'd suddenly notice its absence. You'd miss it. You'd feel thrown off by not having it. Now, replace the mug with you. You were part of your ex's day-to-day routine. Even if they initiated the breakup, they expected you to still linger. But now you're gone entirely. And that vacuum is deafening. So here's what happens in the brain. It starts searching for that missing element. It fixates on it, and it builds narratives around it, and it replays memories to try to feel you again. And that is the moment when nostalgia creeps in. Not because your ex wants to feel emotional, but because the mind is trying to make sense of the absence. Now, when you go silent on your ex, something fascinating happens in their internal narrative. Cognitive dissonance kicks in. That's basically the psychological discomfort that people feel when their actions and their beliefs no longer align. So your ex might believe that breaking up was the right decision. But now that you're not chasing, you're not begging, you're not even checking in, it doesn't match the version of you that they expected. So they start thinking things like, if they're not reaching out, maybe they don't care. Or, wait, why am I more bothered by this than they are? Or, was I wrong to think that they were clingy or needy? And that tension, that mental conflict, it builds over time. And eventually, their brain wants to resolve the discomfort. Often that means reevaluating their decision, and often regretting it. So while you're off, quietly doing your thing, your ex's brain is looping, recalculating, and searching for resolution. All because you created space for dissonance to do its work. All right, now here's something that will blow your mind. The longer your ex goes without hearing from you, the more their brain rewrites your history, and not in a bad way. We're wired to forget negative details over time. It's a psychological phenomenon known as positive memory bias. So what does that mean for you? Well, it means that your ex is already forgetting the bad times, the fights, the reasons they wanted out, and they're remembering and focusing on the good stuff. You know, your smile, your touch, the inside jokes, the road trips, just the comfort of having you in their corner. In fact, the more time passes, the more positive memories stick, and the negative ones just fade into the background. And that's why no contact isn't just about silence, it's about timing. Because by the 3 to 4 week mark, most people are in full nostalgic mode and starting to wonder if they really did make a mistake. So typically around day 10 to 15 of no contact, your ex's brain starts inventing real reasons for your silence. At first, they might just assume that you're upset. Then they wonder if you've moved on. Then they get suspicious, jealous, even panicked. Their thoughts evolve, and they think to themselves things like, they're probably still upset. Or maybe they're seeing somebody else already. Or what if I really did lose them for good? And this is where the scarcity principle takes hold. Scarcity equals value. The harder you are to reach, the more they want to reach you. And this mental tailspin is exactly what makes your ex feel compelled to contact you, even if they don't want to reconcile yet. Because now they're not trying to talk to you out of affection. They're doing it to quiet the voice in their head that's screaming, you lost them, and it might be permanent. Think of it like this. Your ex has a mental book of your relationship. And when you disappear without explanation, you don't just close the chapter. You rip the last few pages out of the book. And that lack of closure creates a lingering question in their mind. What really happened there? And here's what the brain does with open loops. It keeps revisiting them. And that's why your ex might start dreaming about you. Hearing songs that remind them of you. Seeing random things in their day that suddenly feel connected to you. It's not fate. It's not magic. It's unresolved psychological tension. And no contact keeps that tension in place long enough to build real emotional momentum. So once your ex starts feeling their version of post-breakup sadness, and yes, they will, their brain will subconsciously project those emotions onto you. I'm feeling this sad, so they must be too. If I still miss them, maybe they miss me more. If I still think about them, maybe they're thinking about me constantly. And this kind of projection is incredibly powerful because it allows your ex to emotionally reconnect with you without needing you to actually say anything. And ironically, it often leads them to believe that you're still emotionally attached, even though you've been completely silent. It creates a bizarre mental dynamic where they start chasing the very person who isn't chasing them. And that's the power of no contact. It reverses the emotional roles without you ever really lifting a finger. Now, most people, especially those who initiated the breakup, they start out feeling emotionally in control. They expect you to linger. They expect you to be hurt. They expect you to wait. But after a few weeks of silence, things start to shift. Confidence starts to turn into fear. Fear that they've made the wrong choice. Fear that they've been replaced. Fear that they've lost somebody who's moved on. Fear that you're no longer waiting and that they no longer matter. And of course, fear is a huge driver of behavior. It's what compels people to text their ex out of nowhere. It's what makes them stalk your Instagram. It's what causes those, hey stranger messages that show up at 1 a.m. It's not love. It's not logic. It's fear. And once your ex is acting out of fear, the emotional power dynamic has completely flipped in your favor. All of these psychological processes that I just described, the disorientation, dopamine crash, cognitive dissonance, positive memory bias, scarcity, fear, they all lead to one inevitable emotional conclusion. And that is that your ex misses you. Not casually or mildly. They miss you like they lost a part of themselves. Because in many ways, they did. And here's the kicker. By the time they realize how much they miss you, it'll feel like their idea to reach out. Not because you chased, not because you begged, but because their own mind brought them back to you. And that is why no contact works. Not because it's a gimmick, but because it leverages real, predictable, and essentially unstoppable psychological responses. All right, if you are in no contact right now, then of course, stick with it. Don't panic, don't overthink, don't break the silence just because you miss your ex. Trust the psychology in the process. Now, if you want to know how this is all playing out in your specific situation with your specific ex, please take my free quiz at breakupbrad.com/quiz. It takes just a couple of minutes to complete. It's totally confidential, and it'll give you a detailed breakdown of your odds of getting back together based on the actual science behind breakups. Or if you need some personal help in navigating your no contact journey, please check out my one-on-one coaching program at breakupbrad.com/coaching. I would love to work with you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Stay strong, stay silent, and let the psychology do the work for you. See you in the next video.